we got a trampoline for the backyard. In all my dad's previous building shenanigans, I had been too young or aloof to help. Or I couldn't hold the light good enough. But this time, I was gonna help Dad build the trampoline and prove to him that I could be handy too. This trampoline used metal leaf springs instead of normal springs. You would use a special tool to bend the metal leaf to clip into the trampoline mat. I was the designated leaf spring bender, and Dad was the designated mat clipper. As we clipped more and more springs, it got harder and harder to get them to connect because the mat was so stretched out. Dad held out the mat and I bent the leaf spring with all my might. I pushed and pushed as hard as I could. Then, the tool slipped off the leaf spring and slammed into Dad's head. Oh my gosh! Dad, are you okay?
It's okay, it's just pain.
Then I arrived at the Rolling Green Galaxy. That sounds like a fun, easy, kid-friendly level. Not! If the Stingray race broke me, this one shattered me. In the level, you bounce on a ball that has a star inside it and use motion controls to lead the ball through obstacles and past Goombas to reach the end and unlock the star. And I just couldn't do it. I kept falling off, which made me impatient, which made me go faster, which made me fall off more, and the cycle just continued. At 6 years old, I just did not have the coordination or fine motor skills to beat this thing. But I was determined. I didn't want to ask Brody for help again. I wanted to be a big boy gamer. I hunkered down and died over and over for an hour straight. But then finally, I got past the spot where I usually fell. I was close to the end. I shakily crossed a bridge, and the flag came into view. My hands were shaking. The adrenaline was pumping. I could almost taste my victory. I launched over to the last island. I had made it. I tilted my Wiimote all the way forward, but... No! I literally tripped at the finish line. My confidence was shattered, and I had to go collect myself in the other room. But I would not let this fiery crucible break me. I would allow it to forge me into something stronger. I stepped back in and entered Ultra Instinct mode. And I finally beat it. And that's when I felt it. The gamer's high. All my dopamine receptors fired, and I jumped for joy.
This is the greatest day of my life!
This was one of the first video games I ever played, so I had a lot to learn. Jumping between gravity-defying planets and walking upside down took a lot of getting used to. I collected a few stars and then headed to the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy. And let me tell you, this level broke Little Bryson. In the level, you ride around a floating water race course on a Stingray. But I wanted to get the high score. I wanted to go fast. So my thumb never let go of the acceleration button, and that meant I couldn't make sharp turns. I kept flying off the map and dying. And to make it worse, I had to use motion controls. I couldn't beat it no matter how hard I tried. I started crying, and Brody had to help me beat the level. This will go down in history as mankind's second greatest defeat involving stingrays. But after that little hiccup, I was ready to take on the rest of the game and lose to Bowser 50 times. But Brody, being a seasoned veteran gamer, coached me on how to perfectly time my spin moves, and I used them to spin Bowser like a Beyblade.
So long, Bowser!
I was feeling pretty good about my newly acquired gaming skills. Beating Bowser as a child is a big deal, okay? At that age, what else do you have to be proud of? The drawings you made that Mom hung up on the fridge? Well, bad news. Mom will throw those crappy drawings away while you're not looking. But the achievement of defeating the king of the Koopas, that lasts forever. I wanted to win something for once. I just hadn't found the right game yet. Mario Kart. I don't consider myself to be a very competitive person, but as you've seen here today, video games are the exception, especially Mario Kart. Fortunately, my spirit of competition is well placed because I'm amazing at Mario Kart and you can't beat me. But I wasn't always this way. It all started, of course, with Mario Kart DS. My brothers and I would race each other for dominance, but I didn't understand the drift mechanic, so I would just kind of turn and throw bananas. And I could never beat my brothers. When they finally did show me how to drift, it took a lot of getting used to. You have to wiggle the D-pad back and forth in order to build up a charge that boosts you forward, and it was really hard for me to manage that while controlling the trajectory of my turns at such a young age. Clearly, I had much to learn. That being said, this was the first time that becoming better than my brothers at something didn't seem impossibly out of reach. I wanted to win at something for once, and I could feel the potential within myself. I wanted to be player one, so I hunkered down and continued my training arc. Wait, I'm first! I'm gonna win! Bryson, and today we're gonna talk about how a fun childhood hobby slowly devolved into a hellish war of spiteful competition. How the shame and humiliation of losing festered inside me and drove me to do anything in my power to destroy my siblings. I'm talking, of course, about the Italiano Paisano himself, Mario. But before we delve into my villain arc, let's go back to a simpler time, when I was taking my first baby steps into the world of video games. It was all so new to me. It felt like I was a cosmic pioneer exploring a different galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy, the game where you traverse the universe as everyone's favorite Italian plumber. If you haven't played this game yet, change that immediately. When I play this game now, it feels like that scene from Ratatouille.
Hello.
It enthralled me as a child with its constant stream of new and inventive platforming ideas. After watching Brody play Galaxy for a while, I decided to graduate from game watcher to game player. Move over, Brody. Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. While at school, my house, my teacher, my mom, would give me writing assignments. One of these assignments requested that I write a sentence with at least 50 letters in it, but I decided that was too hard, so to make it easier on myself, I wrote this. Look, Mom, it has 50 letters, just like you said. Even then, I was such a creative problem solver, but for some reason, my mom called it cheating. My mom even sent me to this art class at this lady's house with my friends, and she gave us all kinds of fun projects like paper mache, watercolors, and collages, etc. I'm so glad I developed a love of art at such a young age, because art is such an amazingly fulfilling hobby, and I'm so lucky to be able to do it as a job. And now, I have an amazing superpower. I can imagine anything I want and make it real by drawing it, see? My dad is known for picking up a new hobby, getting super into it, then dropping it entirely. Rinse and repeat. Baking sourdough, beekeeping, smoking meats, astronomy. One that stood out though was when he wanted to raise a bonsai tree. He was super excited about it, but in classic dad fashion, lost interest and the bonsai tree withered. Then he would try to get back into it and water it and take care of it, but then forget again. This kept happening until eventually the bonsai tree was clearly dead. Despite this, Dad kept living in denial and saying it would come back to life and insisting that giving water to a tree corpse would fix it. Dad, it's time to let him go.
He's just a little thirsty. He'll be fine.
Eventually, Dad was forced to admit defeat and throw the tree away. But I wanted to make him feel better, so I bought him the Lego bonsai tree set as a gift. Here, Dad, it's a pretty bonsai tree that you can't kill. But a few months later, I came home to visit and discovered that it had fallen off his desk and broken into a million pieces. This bonsai tree required no soil, no water, and no maintenance. And you still couldn't handle it. How are you ever allowed to raise children? At 16 years old, I was 5'2" and 80 pounds. I remember that because that's seriously the size I was for like 6 years. I was definitely not an average teenage boy. I was great at hide and seek, however, I could not go outside if wind speeds were too high. So, my parents took me to see a doctor.
Yeah, he's definitely underdeveloped. I feel bad for him because men like to feel like alpha males, and he obviously isn't. I mean, look at him. So, I'm going to recommend testosterone treatment.
This was a shock to me. I knew I was small, but I generally tried to just ignore it and live my life. I figured that being uncomfortable in your body was kind of just part of being a teenager and that everyone grows at different paces. But this medical professional told me that my body wasn't manly enough and then immediately suggested TRT to a 16-year-old, which I think is pretty crazy. We even got a bone scan done and found out that my bone age was that of a 12-year-old.
Okay, here are the results of the scan. Travel home safely now. This dude's bones suck! I mean, look at it! That's just shoddy workmanship right there!
I'm pretty shy when getting to know people, and then all of a sudden, boom, I become the silliest goose of all time. You can tell how comfortable I am around you based on how annoying I'm being. There's a direct correlation there. Because of this, I've always had a small but very close circle of friends that I really connect well with. But when I was young, I didn't know how to make friends, so I was given a pre-packaged, parent-approved circle of friends because our moms were friends and they'd get together and let us Rugrats play. Hey guys, let's pretend we're wolves! Yeah! Luckily, I grew out of this, unlike some of you. We were visiting my mom and he was walking on the hardwood at a normal speed and then he slipped and fell over and started yelping. It was a freak accident and I have no idea how the slide did 0 damage and a little slip did 100 damage. Seeing my special boy have to limp around makes me so sad. Now he needs surgery to fix his leg, so I'll let you know how that goes. I will do everything in my power to help him recover. Although it is funny that despite his injury, he still steals my trash and my butter. Nothing can stop him. Drawbacks of being a superhero. Super speed is cool, but can you imagine if you tripped or ran into a wall? Whoa! I like super speed, but it just seems like there would be a lot of unintended consequences. Like running through someone, a bug hitting your face at the speed of sound, dust getting in your eyes, and running so fast that your feet and legs get disintegrated. Or what if you had super strength and you accidentally punched so hard you destroyed the earth? Oops. If superheroes were real, it would get all political and everyone would hate them. But like, what's a government of normal people gonna do against an unkillable god? We hate you, Omni-Man! Yeah!
My turn.
People often think that homeschooled kids are really good at math and science, but really bad at social interaction. Unfortunately, I'm just bad at both of them. And I know I'm not the only one who feels inadequate watching those documentaries about gifted kids. They're all like, at age 2, he was already speaking English and Spanish fluently. By age 6, he already graduated high school valedictorian. And by age 10, he had a doctorate in neuroscience and astrophysics. And just last month, he earned a Nobel Prize. If someone made a documentary about me, it would be more like, at age 2, he finally learned to walk. By age 6, he learned how to not spill chocolate milk. And by age 10, he was already drawing silly little pictures. Welcome to Street Magic with Bryson. You there! Come here and I'll show you a magic trick!
What? No thanks. I'm just trying to get to work.
Trust me, you're gonna love this.
What's happening? Let me go!
Look into my eyes.
Oh, they actually are very striking eyes. They remind me of a stormy sea. I'm getting lost in them. Can't look away.
Uh-huh. Now check this out. Immediately, the soundtrack in this game changed my brain chemistry forever. The people who made this music know what Joyous Whimsy sounds like. When I hear Gusty Garden Galaxy, it makes me believe that anything is possible. The room fades away, I float into the air, and I enter the world of the game. This was one of the first video games I ever played, so I had a lot to learn. Jumping between gravity-defying planets and walking upside down took a lot of getting used to. I collected a few stars and then headed to the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy. And let me tell you, this level broke Little Bryson.